Container gardening for today. It's getting that time of the year when you want to get your plants down, and if you don't quite have the space, container gardening is kind of the new thing. And joining us right now is Ellen Meyers Sharp, of course, our resident Hoosier gardener. And it's good to have you here this morning.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here this morning.
And we were just talking earlier about tomatoes. Obviously, this time of the year you want to get them in. Some people have already got them in maybe a couple weeks ago.
Right, but it's not too late. You can still plant. So.
Right, and what I noticed, and I said, okay, well, if you have a backyard, why can't you just plant in your backyard? You said, well, most people or some people don't have a backyard.
Some people, they may live in an apartment or a condominium, or if they have a landscape, it may be a very shady landscape, and so they may have just certain areas where they have sun, and they may not want to dig that up. So you can always put some pots in there and get your
and you know, some of these pots, obviously this is a plastic one, but even some of these pots, nowadays are designer and stuff like that. So you kind of dress them up a little bit.
Yes, they are. And I really brought this just because it was utilitarian.
Oh, sure,
this is an old nursery pot, and it sort of shows the minimum size that you would want, something about 10 inches around and about 10 inches deep for most tomatoes or peppers or some of the larger plants like that.
So not just tomatoes, we're talking peppers. Here's another container with lettuce as well.
This has got baby lettuces in it. Yes, I just sort of threw the seeds down there a few weeks ago, and this is what's come up.
Oh, that looks
great. So we're ready to have a baby lettuce salad.
Yeah, and then, this is, I'm seeing more and more of this nowadays. Fruits and vegetables, if you go to the market, I mean, it's really expensive now.
It is, and even if you can't grow things in your own yard or in pots, it's always nice to patronize the farmers markets where you know that you're getting really fresh produce, you know where that's coming from, and it's a part of that whole sort of sustainable living movement. So.
And it's part of living green as well.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So we've got different pots here, I've noticed, and then of course different types of soil. Do we have to worry about that when you're going to
You want to use a soil that drains really well, a really high quality potting mix. It may even be a soilless mix. It may have some vermiculite and perlite, these little white things that are in there. And it's also lightweight, which makes it nice.
And so the potting soil will be a little different, obviously, for this compared to if you were doing it in your backyard and planting it in the ground.
Right, in the ground,
you have to actually get the potting soil for it.
What we do is I usually use a potting mix, and then I plant it, and then I'll put just just a little bit of manure or some other compost or something like that on the top of it, which then, as it works down into the soil, adds nutrients as it's growing.
Oh, well.
So you want to get your hands dirty here?
Yeah, sure. Let's get into it real quick. We got 30 seconds.
So this one is Brandywine.
Okay.
And it's an heirloom tomato, so we just put it in there like that, and then we,
press it down a little bit. You don't want to break that up either,
do you? You don't want to break the tomato. No, that's okay.
Wow, that goes in nicely, though.
Then you water it, and so there you go.
And that's fairly lightweight, too.
Well, it's not watered yet.
Right, when you weigh it down.
Yeah, but it's still not too heavy.
What kind of advice, and I might throw you off here, but with the wind sometimes, these things can get tumped over as well, so do you want to really pay attention to those?
I suppose if that was a problem, clustering them together is one way to kind of do that, and if it's really an issue, then you can put a few stones or something like that in the base of the pot.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like this idea, and I need to get my tomato plants in for here. So, all right, well, thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, that's a great tips. Of course, we've got more information. You can log on to fox59.com.